But we're going to start with the big drop in energy stocks. That sector falling more than 2% and erasing a week's worth of gains. ConocoPhillips announcing it will cut its workforce by 20 to 25%. That sent names like APA Corp, Diamondback Energy, EOG, Devon Energy, all lower in sympathy. While the biggest names in energy, Exxon, Chevron, and Shell, also took a leg lower as well. Feeding the tumble is a commodity getting slammed from all sides. OPEC Plus is considering another output hike, while tariff concerns, inflation, and economic uncertainty in the U.S. has traders worried about demand. Could things get even worse for that space, or is there a rebound in store? Ooh, big question. Guy, to you first.
Hello, Dom. Welcome, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Look, I mean, I've tried to be bullish in oil. It has been foolish to be that way, but it hasn't really gone up or down. I mean, if you look at some of these stocks, for example, Valero in the refinery space has had a tremendous move off the April lows. Some of these names have been hanging in there, but as you said, the space has been tough. I think it's now 4% of the S&P 500. I think NVIDIA's market cap is now greater than the entire energy sector, but I'm not ready to leave it for dead. I'll say this, and we talked about it in the months in the aftermath. Chevron announced a $75 billion stock buyback in January of 2023. That wound up being, if I may use the phrase, the balls high for the entire sector. And if you remember some of the vitriol that came out of the then Biden administration on the back of that. So it's interesting that that theoretic good news was actually the death knell for the space.
What's interesting is Guy had it kind of halfway right. Energy is half the size, the entire sector of where NVIDIA's current weighting is in the S&P 500. That's how diminished the sector has gotten. Steve, is this anything that we want to buy into, or is this that proverbial falling knife in markets?
So I share Guy's vision that you can find some value plays in this, but this is not where growth is going to be. It's been challenged, right? Oil prices are challenged. Geopolitical, if I would tell you that we would have the geopolitical environment, where would you say oil is trading at?
Higher.
$100?
Higher.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at supply, OPEC Plus is going to be adding 800,000 barrels per day. That's with the UAE, 300,000, and that's with OPEC Plus, 547,000 barrels per day. So that is just too much supply for where we're at in the marketplace right now. Then look at the Trump administration. By any means necessary, energy, right? Nuclear, nat gas, oil. You have
this
all.
Is drill, baby, drill. And not just that. It's also alternative fuels, but not wind or solar, more tilted, to your point, towards the nuclear. Dan.
Well, the wind is a really important point. I mean, if you think about the Trump administration, the take that they've had on wind, right? And we know this comes at a time where the demand for energy, you could say the demand for oil isn't particularly great right now for a whole host of reasons, despite some of the geopolitics that you would expect to actually have the price higher. But to come at wind energy because it kills the birds or something like, I can't remember exactly what the main reason was. I mean, it probably has something to do with the oil lobby. I'm just going to throw that out there. But when you think about the demand for energy, we keep hearing about this from data centers, and we keep hearing about the data centers that are going to be built. It just seems like you would want to actually create the capacity for all of this access, because we know that bringing a lot of these nuclear reactors online or building new ones, it's going to take years, right? And so, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a curious situation. I mean, oil stocks, they have been left for dead. There's nothing particularly interesting going on there. And if you have OPEC that is thinking about honestly increasing supply, I just don't know why you'd go out and buy these stocks.
Why would the Karen, I mean, from a value manager's perspective, oil and gas is probably a good trade if you want to look at it fundamentally, that we need energy, that nat gas is a proven way to get it in a relatively clean format compared to, say, other fuels. Why is this traction not happening for oil and gas companies and stocks?
I mean, I've thought that for a while, that we were due for a bounce, and the stock was, I mean, the whole sector, rather, was much higher than where it is now. It's in my acronym. As I forget, T for terrible. It's really been bad. And, I think the Trump administration, it's nice to have oil here, right? When you think about we're flirting with inflation numbers that are really too high. Think about if energy were to add fuel to that fire. So I'm fairly, I'm still long. That's been the wrong place to be. For a long time, the story has been, wow, these are newly disciplined companies, right? We're not going to see any more of that over-drilling. We're going to see balance sheets that are in good shape. We're going to see cash flow that's going back to shareholders. All of that's true, and yet it doesn't matter at all. when I throw in the towel, that will be the time to buy it. I can assure
Plus, think
you.
about
I can
passive
assure you
investing.
that.